Everything in this universe is energy. You are energy too. The thoughts you think, the emotions you feel, and the beliefs you hold are not just passive experiences. They are signals, frequencies that broadcast into the field of possibility. Every moment, whether you're aware of it or not, you are sending out an energetic signature. That signature shapes what and who responds to you. When you carry unresolved pain, self-doubt, or emotional chaos, that energy becomes your point of attraction. You might say you want love, loyalty, and devotion, but if your subconscious is still wired for confusion, drama, or emotional inconsistency, you will keep drawing in experiences that mirror those patterns. The mind, shaped by the past, works like a magnet. It attracts relationships that reflect the energy it knows best. That's why so many people find themselves repeating the same toxic cycles, unaware that the real change doesn't come from finding a new partner. It comes from becoming a new version of yourself. When you begin to elevate your inner world, when you decide to live with grace, wisdom, and confidence, your whole energy field changes. You stop searching for something outside yourself to complete you. Instead, you become the source of what you desire. And when you hold this state long enough, your reality begins to shift. A woman who radiates calm, certainty, and self-respect does not attract chaos. She draws in clarity, depth, and devotion. A woman who knows her worth does not give energy to emotional instability because her frequency vibrates at a higher level. This isn't about pretending to be positive or forcing a smile. It's about a deep internal shift. It's about rewiring the subconscious, letting go of the old identity that tolerated confusion and stepping into a self that demands love and respect without having to beg for it. Because the truth is simple. You don't attract what you want. You attract what you are. If you believe deep inside that love must be painful, that relationships are battles, that being desired means you have to suffer, then life will keep proving you right. Your experiences will echo those beliefs. But when you change the story, when you finally believe that love can be peaceful, passionate, and fulfilling, your nervous system calms. Your energy steadies. You stop vibrating at the frequencies of fear, insecurity, or need. Instead, you give off a calm, magnetic presence that invites the same kind of energy back to you. This transformation asks for commitment, a daily practice of awareness. It asks that you observe your patterns, challenge your beliefs, and stay conscious of the energy you bring into every moment. The people you attract will always mirror the frequency you hold. A woman who carries grace does not plead for love. A woman who holds wisdom does not feed emotional chaos. A woman who walks with confidence does not settle for less than the devotion that matches her highest self. Self-worth is the foundation of every great relationship. It's not just a nice idea. It's an energy, a presence, a deep knowing of your own value. When a woman truly understands her worth, she moves differently. She speaks with assurance. She walks with calm power, and she makes choices that reflect her inner strength. She doesn't entertain anything that contradicts the love and respect she knows she deserves. She doesn't shrink herself to fit into places that no longer fit her. She doesn't trade her peace for temporary affection or confusion. A queen doesn't chase love or approval. She doesn't lower her standards just to be chosen. She knows that any relationship that asks her to dim her light isn't a relationship worth keeping. Instead, she creates boundaries, not to build walls, but to set standards. These boundaries are sacred lines that keep her energy clear. They are not about exclusion, but about protection. A declaration to the universe that only high-caliber energy is welcome in her space. Because she stands in this truth, she naturally attracts those who respect her, those who see her worth without her having to prove it. There's no desperation in a woman who knows she's enough. She isn't afraid of being alone, because solitude and peace feels far better than company in chaos. She'd rather wait for alignment than settle for distraction. She's not interested in relationships that require her to beg for attention, overextend herself, or tolerate disrespect. She doesn't engage in manipulation or emotional games. She doesn't compete for validation because she's already chosen herself. This kind of self-worth isn't arrogance, it's self-honor. It's the quiet understanding that love begins within. When a woman truly honors herself, she no longer acts from scarcity. She no longer accepts crumbs, hoping they'll turn into a feast. She no longer waters dead plants, hoping they'll bloom. She knows that love should never require suffering, and respect should never be earned through pain. A queen doesn't need to convince a king of her value. Her presence alone speaks for her. But this presence doesn't come from words. It comes from embodiment. It's felt in the way she enters a room. Calm, confident, grounded. It's in the way she carries herself, unbothered by what doesn't align with her peace. She doesn't waver when challenged. She doesn't compromise when tested. She doesn't break when faced with rejection. She stands firm, not because she's cold, but because she knows her worth. She understands that giving up her self-respect is too high a price to pay for temporary companionship. This is what true standards are made of, not demands, not control, but energy. It's a frequency, a way of being that naturally filters out chaos and welcomes only what is worthy of your presence. Your mind is the architect of your reality. Every thought, every belief, every emotion you hold sends out a message into the field of infinite possibility. The universe doesn't respond to your words. It responds to your energy, to what you focus on, to what you repeatedly feel. If your mind is full of images of betrayal, heartbreak, and disappointment, you're not just remembering the past, you're recreating it. The subconscious mind doesn't know the difference between what's real and what's imagined. It only follows the patterns it's been taught. So if you keep living in thoughts of chaos and instability, your mind will look for proof of it in your world. It will attract what it recognizes. That's why so many people attract the very dysfunction they say they don't want, because they haven't yet written the internal script. A woman who has been conditioned to believe that love must be dramatic, that passion always includes pain, or that trust is fragile, will unconsciously seek relationships that confirm those stories. Not because she truly wants them, but because her nervous system feels safe in the familiar. That's the paradox. We crave peace, but we chase what feels familiar. And unless we change the inner story, we'll keep calling in the same lessons under different names. But the moment she chooses differently, the moment she decides to see love as safe, peace as powerful, and stability as desirable, everything shifts. Her energy rewrites her story. Her heart begins to trust ease. Her body learns that calm is not boring, that being valued does not require struggle. And from that place, she becomes magnetic, not because she's trying to attract, but because she is aligned. Love that's rooted in peace finds her. Loyalty that's steady recognizes her. Respect that's deep and effortless flows to her. Because the universe doesn't give you what you beg for. It reflects who you are being. You are always broadcasting energy through your thoughts, your emotions, your beliefs, and your choices. Every time you choose peace over drama, clarity over confusion, and self-worth over approval, you're rewriting your frequency. You're teaching the world how to treat you by showing it how you treat yourself. And when that lesson becomes embodied, when your energy, your actions, and your self-image all align, you no longer chase. You attract naturally, effortlessly, authentically. That is the power of becoming.
When
When the temptation to entertain familiar chaos arises, you pause. You remind yourself that the past is not your future unless you keep living there. You choose to respond from your new identity, the one that values peace over dysfunction, self-respect over desperation, and emotional clarity over confusion. The more you live from this version of yourself, the more your world begins to shift. The people who once matched your old patterns start to fade away. The situations that once felt impossible to escape lose their power over you. You no longer attract relationships that drain your energy because you've stopped being a match for them. A woman who has done this inner work does not look back. She doesn't try to justify why she tolerated what she did or why she repeated certain cycles. She understands that growth asks for grace, that healing takes time, and that the past was simply a mirror of who she once was, not who she's becoming. She steps fully into her new self, knowing that real love, the kind that's stable, fulfilling, and calm, can only meet her at the level of her own transformation. That the embodiment of royal energy isn't about crowns or appearance or grand gestures. It's a state of being. It's an internal presence that radiates from within. A woman who embodies this energy doesn't seek validation outside herself because she already knows her worth. She doesn't chase connections, force relationships, or beg for attention. She understands that what is meant for her will always align with her, not because she demands it, but because she has become the kind of person who naturally attracts what she desires. Her presence commands respect, not through dominance or control, but through quiet, undeniable confidence. True queenship begins in the mind. A woman who operates from self-love and inner peace doesn't allow outside chaos to shake her foundation. She doesn't react impulsively to what doesn't serve her. She doesn't fight for someone to see her value. She knows the energy she emits determines what stays in her life. If she carries peace, she will draw peace. If she carries self-respect, she will draw respect. If she carries love, she will draw love. She isn't trying to be chosen because she has already chosen herself. This kind of embodiment creates a powerful magnetism. It's why some women seem to draw opportunities, relationships, and experiences with ease, while others find themselves constantly chasing. The difference isn't in luck or beauty or timing. It's energy. A woman who has stepped into her highest self doesn't need to manipulate circumstances to make them work for her. She simply aligns with the life she desires by becoming the version of herself who already lives it. She moves with certainty, knowing that the right people will recognize her essence without her having to explain it. She doesn't engage with situations that disturb her inner calm because anything out of alignment naturally falls away. Chaos cannot survive in the presence of a woman who has mastered her energy. Those who thrive on instability and inconsistency find themselves uneasy around her because she does not entertain anything that disrupts her peace. She doesn't give her time to those who drain her energy or keep her caught in old cycles. Instead, she stands as a grounding force, a woman who moves with intention, grace, and unwavering self-respect. This doesn't make her cold or unapproachable. In fact, she is deeply compassionate and loving, but her love is rooted in wisdom. She gives freely, but only to those who honor and reciprocate that energy. The path to embodying royal energy begins with deep self-awareness. It's never about what others think of her. It's about how she sees herself. She understands that everything she wants from the outside must first exist within. She no longer waits for someone to bring her peace, love, or validation. She has cultivated those qualities internally. She walks through life knowing that her energy alone shapes her reality. Because of that, She becomes the kind of woman who doesn't need to chase anything. Everything meant for her finds its way naturally. Aligning with your future means letting go of the version of yourself still attached to the past. It requires stepping into a new identity, one that mirrors the love, respect, and devotion you desire. A woman who wants to attract a king doesn't wait for him to appear before she starts acting like a queen. She becomes her first. She elevates her mindset, her standards, her energy, and her expectations to match the kind of relationship she envisions. She refuses to settle into patterns that belong to her old self. She no longer makes choices from the wounds of her past. Instead, she moves from a place of certainty, as if the relationship she dreams of already belongs to her.